here. Your motion to revoke probation is hereby granted. And Ms. Wnjak, you were hereby sentenced to confinement in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 4 years. It's less than what the state was asking. It's not what y'all are asking. And you will the parole people will be making a decision on when we call 21-37954, the state of Texas versus Deborah Wnjak. That's you.
Yes, sir.
With Ms. Minaldi, your attorney and the state's attorney is here. And raise your right hand, ma'am. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement you make during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, sir.
Okay, low.
Judge, if I may put a few things on the record
Go
before
ahead.
we
Yes.
begin. Ms. Wnjak, you understand that you have a motion to revoke probation pending, correct?
Yes,
And you were put on probation for a 3rd-degree felony, DWI third, isn't that right?
yes,
And you were put on something that we call straight probation, but it means you've already been convicted of the offense, correct?
yes, ma'am.
And then you and I have discussed how we can resolve these motions to revoke probation. One of the options is to have a contested hearing about the violations where the state calls witnesses. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then we talked about how you can waive that right to have a contested hearing and you can proceed to the judge or agreed with the prosecutor to the judge to resolve your case. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to waive your right to a contested hearing today?
I do.
And we have talked about the offer that was on the table from the prosecutor. Are you choosing to refuse that offer today?
May I say something in addition to yes or no? At 73 years old, 5 years might as well be 10 years.
Yes, ma'am.
So
So are you rejecting that 5 years?
I'm rejecting the 5 years and I'm going to leave it up to you, sir.
Okay, so you understand that by waiving your right to have a formal hearing and rejecting the offer from the prosecutor, that Judge Stevens is going to be the one to decide whether or not to revoke your probation. You understand that? And then if he decides to revoke you, then he will decide what your punishment would be. And that can be up to 10 years in TDC.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Knowing all of that and discussing all of this with your attorney, do you insist on moving forward today without an agreement and again, letting the judge make this decision?
I'd like to know today one way or another so that my mother's estate can be probated and resolved.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So that means, yes, you want to move forward.
Yes, I do.
All right. All right. Can we proceed in summary? In summary, Ms. Wnjak, this motion to revoke probation in cause number 21-37954 states that on December 6th, 2021, in this criminal district court of Jefferson County, Texas, you were sentenced to 10 years in prison and that was suspended. You were placed on regular probation for 10 years for committing the 3rd-degree felony of operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. And this was a 3rd-degree felony, as you pleaded guilty to paragraph 1 of this indictment, committing the offense of operating a motor vehicle in a public place while intoxicated. And then paragraph 2 alleged that you had 2 or more, you had 3 total, but 2 or more prior DWI convictions. The first one in time out of Galveston County, Texas, in County Court of Law 2 on July 13th, 2006, in cause number 244463. Thereafter, in Chambers County, Texas, County Court, in cause number 24031-05, on March 1st, 2006. So that's the same year on a different date. And then a third DWI conviction was alleged that you apparently pleaded true to that occurred on May 24th, 2018. That was a conviction on that date in 241-200-18 out of the 241st District Court of Smith County, Texas. So there were 3 prior DWI convictions.
Yes, sir.
Alleged.
To be a one felony.
And then this new one that was committed on or about January 2nd, 2021. And then you were sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. That was suspended for 10 years probation. And then this motion to revoke comes along, and all of this is true so far.
Yes.
Allegation 1 in the motion to revoke probation filed on May 6th of 2026. It states you committed the offense of operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, a 3rd-degree felony, on or about April 22nd, 2026 in Jefferson County, Texas, which would be a violation of your probation order, condition 1, which states commit no offense against the laws of this state or any other state of the United States. Is that allegation true or untrue?
It is true, sir. I'm not going to lie to you.
Are you pleading true voluntarily and because it is true as it is alleged?
2 different.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you understand that a voluntarily and knowingly made plea of true to one or more violations of probation, that would be enough to grant a motion to revoke probation? Your probation can be revoked and you can be sentenced to no less than 2 nor more than 10 years confinement in prison.
So
Knowing and appreciating that, do you insist on pleading true today?
I have to. It's the truth. Yes, sir.
I find then you are pleading true voluntarily and because it is true, and you are expressing a willingness to accept responsibility.
Yes.
Anything, do we need to go on any of these others?
Your Honor, the state would abandon number 2. However, we would respectfully ask, we would abandon number 2. Number 3, we would respectfully ask to go forward on number 4, please, as well.
Okay. Allegation 4 states that you failed to have the auto ignition interlock system installed in your vehicle as required by the probation order, which is order number 36 of your probation order. Have an auto ignition interlock system installed in any vehicle you may drive and pay all associated costs. And this says you failed to honor that requirement on or about on April 22nd, 2026 at the time of your arrest when you were operating a motor vehicle. Is that allegation true as well?
It is true, but there were some extenuating circumstances, but in the end, that is true.
Are you pleading true voluntarily to allegation number 4? And because it is true as it is alleged?
It is true.
And again, do you understand that 1 or more violations of probation, all it takes to result in a revocation of probation if found by a preponderance of the evidence or greater? Again, your probation can be revoked. You can be sentenced to no less than 2 nor more than 10 years confinement in prison for a violation of allegation 1 and or 4.
I fully understand.
Knowing all of that, do you insist on pleading true to allegations 1 and 4 of this motion to revoke probation?
Sir, I have to. It is true.
All right. I find that you are pleading true voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and because you insist these allegations are true as they are alleged. Okay, go ahead. Anything the defense would like to add on this?
Say,
Yes, ma'am.
at that point.
Okay, remember, you're still under oath, and
Yes, I
you
am.
can you can do a question and answer if you want, or
Yes,
allow her to make a presentation. All right. Ms. Wozniak, when you're ready, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I was in the middle to end stages of liver failure, which creates some questionable judgment.
Hold on, I'm going to ask questions as we go.
Okay.
This liver failure, I'm familiar, liver failure can occur with alcohol usage.
Yes, and that is
Was that
probably, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
was that do you, from your doctor's reports, was that the cause of liver failure, alcohol abuse?
Yes, sir, it was. And I was later right immediately after that, I was hospitalized, considered near death, then went through 2.5 weeks of rehabilitation, physical rehabilitation, and my liver failure is under control at this point in time.
Good, good for you.
But I really do think I was advised by my physician that that would impair my judgment.
Okay, when did you get a good prognosis on the liver?
It's hazy to me when I went to the hospital. I think I was hospitalized at Baptist that day,
Which day?
the 22nd.
April 2026, when these new allegations she's plugged through.
When I was driving without the interlock device in my car. I felt like
You was arrested.
yes.
Okay. You bonded yourself out, or you were?
She's in custody, Judge.
I was.
How did she get to the hospital? That was
They
before she was
usually
arrested?
seek medical treatment as part of a DWI arrest. If they're showing signs of necessary medical treatment, they'll
Okay,
usually bring
it
them to
was from that arrest, then you were submitted to the hospital
Yes,
immediately?
sir.
Okay, how long did you stay there?
Probably about 3 days.
And then you were transferred to jail from there?
No, I was transferred to a physical rehabilitation
For how long?
for 2.5 weeks.
And then what happened?
And then I was released on a Saturday. On Monday morning, it was June 1st, I came to jail.
Okay, how did you get to jail? On June 1st?
I went to my probation. My sister took me to the probation officer, and there was a warrant with
Had been
a county
ready
officer,
to go.
and he took me.
Okay, and you've been in custody ever since?
Yes, sir, over 60
I see,
days.
it's 112 days.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead.
Mhm. For what it's worth, I don't know if this makes any difference or another, but I did.
Everything's important.
I have fallen several times, and that is one reason why I'm confined to the infirmary. And I did fall, I had some staples in my head, by the Jefferson County Medical Department. They did a good job, but I did injure my shoulder, and I have very limited movement of my shoulder, and they cannot treat that in this facility.
And then, Deborah, I think that there were some circumstances surrounding your mom's estate and your mother. Do you want to talk to Judge about that situation?
My sister is the executive. My mother did die. I became her sole caretaker for the last year, and that was what kind of put me in a depression and kind of got me spiraling downhill. No, my sister, who is in the gallery right now, she needs my cooperation to probate the estate.
What do you mean?
Sell the house.
What kind of cooperation are you gonna need to perform?
Probably just some forms being signed. The house needs to be sold, but she can put that on the market. I will have to find another place to live, but that is provided for in a trust for me.
Do you understand? You have obviously been very thoughtful about how you want to negotiate through this. And of course, your attorney is a fabulous lady who takes in. I'm not just saying that because, but she is. She's earned a great reputation as a young lawyer who's precocious as being a great lawyer already. But do you understand? We put you on probation, and this is while on probation, when you commit another similar offense, the likelihood of this court seriously considering putting you back on probation is slim. Do you understand?
I understand, sir.
And so the punishment range for revocation, if it's not being placed back on probation, is no less than 2 nor more than 10 years confinement in prison.
Yes, sir. And at my age, I would like to avoid confinement, but I understand that that is necessary. I would just like to keep it to a
Yes, ma'am.
minimum at my age. I just turned 73.
Well, I can tell you from my vantage point, that's not all that old.
Well, I'm probably.
But I'm running
one
5
of the
miles every day too, and I'm about your age. But it's a different set of circumstances.
Probably one of the healthiest people in the
Good for you.
in Jefferson County.
Well, I hope you live a long, happy life.
Mhm.
But most importantly, this is, I don't have to tell you, this indictment that you pleaded guilty to had 3 prior convictions of DWIs. Then you pleaded to a fourth.
Yes.
And essentially, a motor vehicle is essentially a 4,000-pound missile. And all too often, cases are in this court where you've got a group of people weeping over their victim who was injured, seriously injured, or died in a crash with somebody in irresponsible operating a motor vehicle, a 4,000-pound missile, and you can't bring life back. And you've been subject to felony punishment, what, 2 convictions ago? Okay. So whatever happens here, nonetheless, you have to be completely clear of operating a motor vehicle, because the next one would be a more serious crime.
I do not plan to operate a motor vehicle anytime in the future.
Just do it responsibly and soberly. That's, because they come in handy as a tool to move them for mobility. But still, we make a covenant with all others when we're operating on the roads that we will care not only for the safety of ourselves, but safety of other fellow motorists. And like I say, we get cases here all too often, and there's weeping and crying, and they want their loved one brought back. And it always seems like the person who's victimized and killed is like a child or somebody who is just a angelic person. And it happens over and over again. And those circumstances result in serious responsibility for the people. And you got Mothers Against Drunk Driving that I'm a supporter of. Those people, and they do a great job on trying to educate the public on the responsibility and the importance of appreciating others' lives so that we can operate motor vehicles safely on the same roads, because it seems like speeds are getting higher. But nonetheless, the accident rate is still, I'm afraid, increasing. So all of that is part of this equation, and your recidivism, it plays into the determination of what's appropriate. You understand?
It should.
What do you have if the court sentences you in the lower range? What do you intend to do to ensure all of us, others, that you will not fall back into a bad choice in getting into a motor vehicle while intoxicated?
My medical situation has definitely changed. The liver failure, I can never drink again. I will go into liver failure. The fact that I do not live with my mother anymore, who was, she kind of let me do whatever I want. I feel like if I can get back into the community within a certain age range, I've volunteered down at some other place doing Meals on Wheels for over 12 years now, and there are people in their 80s delivering meals. Joe Parigi needs somebody to ride with him. Yeah, I feel like, and I do a lot of volunteer and church work, and I feel like I can still contribute to the community even at my age, because I am able. Like I said, I'm probably the most able-bodied person in my medical infirmary at Jefferson County. I just really feel like I would like to make a contribution to society,
Well,
and I can't do it locked up.
no, but a felony offense can pretty much neutralize all those great intentions and good works. And you've had a felony here, and the next one is another felony, even more serious if it happens. Okay. Then you don't jump right into a felony on a DWI unless there's a injury or a death. A DWI takes 2 priors to get to a felony, and we passed that a couple ago. All right. What are we asking for from this?
Judge, she's here voluntarily accepting responsibility. She knows what she's dealing with. She's aware of the issues that she has faced, and she has told you of those issues, and she has pled true to those today. She is an avid member of the community. She wants to continue to be an avid member of the community. I also think that something to focus on would be to rehabilitate her from this alcohol use that she has succumbed to for so long, which is represented by the several past DWIs. The only way to monitor that progress and to ensure that she is holding up her accountability that she's taking in front of you today is to put her in some sort of a program that encourages that rehabilitation, and to put her back on probation to ensure that she is being monitored and she is accepting that accountability and that responsibility like she's told you that she will today. So we're requesting for some sort of reinstatement with maybe some heightened condition toward rehabilitation. If that's not something for the court to consider, then we would be requesting too.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be brief because the court's already touched on the argument or arguments I was going to make about the community safety.
Let me ask, not to interrupt you, but what was the offer that had been made by the state to resolve?
5 years
Go
TDC,
ahead.
Judge. Your Honor, again, it's admirable that this defendant is being sincere, and I believe she's being sincere. It's admirable that she is taking responsibility, Judge. However, if one thing I'd like to point out is that if you look at the underlying offense, there was a motor vehicle accident involved in that DWI offense. Dowling Road and Gladys. You look at the new offense, Your Honor, there was another motor vehicle offense involved, Delaware and Dowling.
You said motor offense involved.
Yes, motor vehicle. Well, at least that's what it is. They can respond if they like have one judgment. But my point is, we often speak, and prosecutors and even as judges, we get one of the people behind. We speak in conjecture, speculation that someone can get killed. Your Honor, we got 2 instances here where people it's not conjecture. You know, section of the that's all I'm saying is that her current situation.
Anything else you would like to add?
The accidents were minor. There were no injuries. I don't think that makes much difference, but
The grace of God has a lot to do with that.
that I would like to clarify. And the first one was just, it was grazing a car. It was not an accident. That shouldn't matter. I shouldn't have been on the road.
From probation, anything you would like to add
Well,
to help the court on this?
I stand with the 5 years of TDC.
Ma'am?
The thing is, I stand with the prison time for TDC for the 5 years. But the thing is, like, while she's in there, that will give her time, her liver time to heal also. And extremely common.
Parties are positioned with the state urging their offer of 5 years be accepted by the court, and then the defense requesting that the defendant be placed back on probation. The court is going to hear your motion to revoke probation is hereby granted. And Ms. Wozniak, you were hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 4 years. It's less than what the state was asking. It's not what y'all are asking. And you will the parole people will be making a decision on when you will be released. You have credit for 112 days, but we can't bypass the seriousness, the continued seriousness of the operating of a motor vehicle, which results in one of the highest percentages of loss of life and injury in America. It has to be operated responsibly, and you have had far too many DWIs. And I can say that if you get well and get out of prison with good behavior, when they decide it's probably, you still have a long life of time to go, as long as you don't continue to harm yourself by alcohol abuse, which is where I hear from what you're saying is the problem health wise. But this is a most serious type of offense when it's in our court, because that means 2 or more prior convictions. And in this one, there's one more than that in your case. So you have to pay a price. And this court finds that under these circumstances, this may not be what you were hoping for, but what the court finds it is fair and just under your criminal history. And also this gives an opportunity for you to get parole when you're ready. And during the parole term, they're pretty good about making sure that you follow terms and conditions that are relevant to the problem that you were placed in prison for. So they will help you when you
So would be
are-
eligible for parole before the end of the 4 years?
This is one of those where you are, you can be eligible in a quarter of the time, but again, it's parole decisions. Those are for other authorities to make, not us. None of us in this room have the authority. We can just say what you can be subject to and when you are eligible, but the other parole authorities make the final call. And I would urge you to make sure when you deal with them to get all your thoughts about what your plan is in assuring parole authorities that they're convinced they can trust you when you are released, that you will not fall back to alcohol misuse and then jumping into a car and putting people in harm's way. All right. Anything else on this?
No,
Okay. Good luck to all of us here. Thank you.
thank you.